Nobody cares about us poor beggars.
Could you help me? I'm next. I know I'm going to be next. Murder. My friends are already dead, but the Watch doesn't care. What's one less beggar? We're nothing to them. If someone found the killer... Start in the Trade District alleys. That's where old Jian was murdered just yesterday. Maybe Lieutenant Dubois will give you a reward if you do his job for him. Thank you. It's a terrible thing to be poor. You're invisible. No one cares. I'll tell you whatever I know. The Watch found old Jian last night. The night before, it was Ragged Ron. When one of us dies, they blame the cold or the plague. But Jian and Ron were cut up something horrible. Now they say it's a wolf. Can you believe it? A wolf in the city? But that's what the Watch thinks. Who am I to say any different? Still, it feels more like murder than the work of a wild animal to me. We're everywhere. We're easy prey. Some folks just don't like us. Take your pick. This killer isn't stopping, it's brutal. Sooner or later, it's gonna start killing a better class of citizen. Then the Watch will take action. The Watch found old Jian last night. The night before, it was Ragged Ron.
All I saw was fur and fangs. It killed that one in the alley, too.
It seems like the poor were made to suffer. I wish I had been born into a family of wealth and means.
Get out of here. It'll kill you, too. It's a monster, I tell you. A monster! It prowls the alleys, shreds its victims with claws and fangs. It'll kill anyone that crosses its path. There's a dead man in the South Alley, but he's no beggar. He's one of those Bloodthorn cultists. The beast prowls along the river's edge and hunts in the alleys. It doesn't eat what it kills. It just slaughters and leaves the corpses for the rats. It's the curse of Camlorn. I want no part of this evil. Haven't you heard? Everyone's talking about it. The town of Camlorn's been taken over by an army of werewolves. Don't look at me like that. I heard Damien and Fabian talking about it. Get out of here. It's a monster, I tell you. Fanatics from the Reach. Rumors are that they're involved in dark nature magic, and worse. We try to stay clear of those fobbing maniacs. If the monster decided to just kill Bloodthorns, that would be fine by me.
It was a monster! It tore out Guillaume's throat and disappeared into the river! It was hideous! What a beast! Right out of my worst nightmares! Thank you for killing the horrible thing.
Have you ever met a weird sister?
I think it might be fun to run around in the forest with the nature witches. At least for a little while.
I've never seen the citizens so agitated. Even the beggars seem nervous these days. A werewolf killed those beggars? You're certain? Damn. I shouldn't have ignored Matthew when he came to me. Take this as a reward, but say nothing. People are nervous enough as it is. I promise not to dismiss the concerns of the poor again. I learned a hard lesson. I won't turn away anyone who's in trouble again. Not on my watch. Not even a beggar. With you? Yes, of course. But please, keep your voice down. No need to alarm anyone unnecessarily. I'd say it were a lot of superstitious nonsense. Except the rumors keep coming. They say that werewolves have overrun Camlorn, north of here. With the way the Lion Guard has been acting, there's certainly something going on up that way. Fight a werewolf? Never had the opportunity, and I hope it stays that way. A werewolf's bite carries the creature's curse. It can turn you into one of them. Or so I've heard it said. I'd say it were a lot of superstition.
When you visit the shops and markets, be sure to tell them the Daggerfall guard sent you.
There's an urgent task for you. Let me know if you have some time. I can train and certify you in something else. Prove you know your way around a forge and I'll certify you. But you have to commit. I can only train one discipline at a time. Let me know if you have some time. I can train and certify you in something else. Prove you know you... I want you to craft a simple iron dagger. First you'll mine some iron ore, then refine the ore into iron ingots. You'll use those ingots to make the dagger. Yes, you have to prove you know your way around a blacksmithing station. Those are the rules. For now, bring me an armload of iron ore. Once you're back, you'll refine them into iron ingots. There's a place outside of town which should still have some iron ore veins. Head there and mine it for yourself. Bring me 10 solid chunks of iron ore. If those veins are played out, you'll need to find iron ore on your own.
Excuse me, please. I have a message for you.
Well? You're back. I take it you found enough ore? Refining ore into ingots is a good way to build your muscles. Well, in one arm. Best to switch every now and then. Otherwise, you'll be lopsided. Bring the iron ore to a blacksmithing station. If you have enough, you can refine them into iron ingots. Really put your back into it. When you have iron ingots, return to me. Look near rock formations, outcroppings, or hills. Sometimes you'll see it by streams or beaches where the water has exposed it to the elements. The same goes for most other kinds of ore. If you're in a guild, check the guild stores. They often have raw materials and refined goods for sale. Of course, you can always trade with a friend. Bring some iron ore to a blacksmithing station. You can refine it there to get iron ingots. Bring some iron ore to a blacksmithing station. You can refine it there to get iron ingots. Refining ore into ingots is a good way to build your muscles. Well, in one arm. Go to the blacksmithing station and craft an iron dagger. Nothing fancy. You shouldn't need more than 2 iron ingots. Oh, and you'll need a style material. You can purchase them from any blacksmith, or scavenge them yourself if you're thrifty. Every race has a traditional material they work into their weapons and armor. For example, the Imperial style material is nickel. I should know. Every day in the Legion camps, I worked a pile of it. The Breton style material is molybdenum. Show me what you can do with it. You can learn how to craft with another race's style material by studying racial motif books. They're quite rare, mostly held by collectors, so watch for them in your travels. The Breton style material is molybdenum. You can learn how to craft with another... Craft an iron dagger. You'll need some iron ingots and a style material. You can buy those from any blacksmith if you can't find them yourself. The trick is the style material, but I'm sure you know that. Next is deconstruction. You learn a lot when you break something into parts, even more so when it's someone else's work. Go deconstruct your dagger, or anything else really, as long as you do it at a blacksmithing station. You'll regain some components, of course, but the real trick is to deconstruct another crafter's work. You can learn far more by disassembling someone else's material than your own. It's a fancy way to say take something apart. The term originally came from Altmer poetry critiques. High elves consider their physical crafts to be forms of poetry, so it stuck. You can't know what a sword is, only what it's not, and so forth. You'll regain some components, of course, but the real treat... You certainly know your way around a forge. You're a blacksmith, and let none tell you otherwise. Of course. I'll get you certified right away so you can fulfill blacksmith crafting writs immediately. Let me know if you have some time. I can train and certify you in something else. A good woodworker sees the final product before cutting the first block of wood. But I can't teach two crafts at once. If you commit yourself to the training, I'll certify you. I want to know if you can craft a maple bow. First, go harvest some rough maple. You'll refine it into sanded maple at a woodworking station. Last, you'll take the sanded maple and turn it into a maple bow. Absolutely! Bows are challenging to craft. Show me you're up to the challenge and I'll happily certify you. But first, go get me a bundle of rough maple. There's a place nearby which should have what you need. Collect an armload and return here. If there's not enough, you'll need to search for more.
Is highly discouraged at the present time. An unknown corruption has agitated the youth of the people.
Look for rough maple in forested areas. Sometimes you'll see logs washed up on beaches. You should avoid cutting a rough maple log with a wasp nest inside. It's rather unpleasant. So are the lotions you'll need for the stings. Bring the rough maple to a woodworking station. As long as you have enough, you can refine it into sanded maple. Return to me when you've done that, and we'll talk about crafting a maple bow. If you're in a guild, check the guild stores. They often have raw materials and refined goods for sale. Of course, you can always trade with a friend. Bring some rough maple to a woodworking station and refine it into sanded maple. It's easy work. I prefer to work with maple. It's reliable, plentiful, rarely full of wasps. Craft a maple bow at a woodworking station. You'll need sanded maple, also a style material. Scavenge them yourself or buy a style material from a carpenter. Every race has a traditional material they work into their weapons and armor. Hear ye, hear ye! Messengers from the Lion Guard have brought word that they have begun a quarantine of the city of Camlorn. They assure the king that the plague there shall not spread. Craft a maple bow. Brings...
Even with the alchemists camped here in the mill, I can still get plenty done. Speaking of, need anything? Certainly. Woodworkers shape wood into all manners of useful tools, but bows, staves, and shields are our specialty. This work requires fine lumber and a sturdy work table. We also seek out style books and rare ingredients for more advanced work. Sure. While shaping the wood, we can choose a special trait to focus on. It takes research to discover these techniques, but it's well worth the effort. Increasing the weight or tuning the angle can draw out different advantages in the final product. Well, the piece can be improved even more through the use of resins, special elements that enhance the value and quality of your work. The improvement process is delicate, so be sure you've got enough tempers and steady hand. Good luck.
Craft a maple bow. Bring some sanded maple to a woodworking station, as well as a style material. Carpenters sell them if you can't find any yourself. A good bow will get you far in life. Making good bows will get you farther. Excellent! Now we can talk about deconstruction. You grow as a woodworker when you disassemble your own creations, even more so with someone else's work. Head to a woodworking station and deconstruct your bow, or any other crafted wood. You'll regain some components, of course. I've seen everything I need to see. You're a fine woodworker with a steady hand. Certainly. You're more than qualified to fulfill woodworking crafting writs. I'll certify you immediately. There's only one more certification I can provide. If you need training, I have time. There's only one more certification. If you convince me you know how to use a needle and thread, I'll certify you. However, you must commit. I can't certify two things at once. Show me you can craft a pair of homespun gloves. First, you'll collect some raw jute, then return here and refine it. Finally, you'll use refined jute to make the gloves. Of course. It was the first trade I studied. I'm happy to certify anyone familiar with a clothing station. Now run forth and bring me a pile of raw jute. I spotted some raw jute growing on the outskirts of town. You might as well harvest it yourself. Should that not be enough, you'll have to search elsewhere.
I've got what you need.
Trading right here.
Search grassy areas in the wilderness for raw jute. You should find enough if you look around. Raw jute is plentiful if you know where to look. Just don't chew on it. It can really do a number on your... Well, just don't chew on it. Take the raw jute to a clothing station. If you have enough, you can easily refine it. Bring the refined jute to me when you're done, and then you'll make some homespun gloves. If you're in a guild, check the guild stores. They often have... Before you make the gloves, you need to bring raw jute to a clothing station and refine it. When I'm refining jute, I sing to help pass the time. Not too loud. I don't want to disturb the other clothiers. Head to the clothing station and craft a pair of homespun gloves. You shouldn't need much refined jute. Don't forget a style material. You can purchase them from any clothier or scavenge them yourself. You mean half-hide braces? It's a similar process. Skin animals for leather scraps, refine scraps into rawhide, and craft the braces with a style material. But I'm not supposed to say you should kill and skin a pack of wolves. Let's stick to jute.
Ah, Malak's jawbone. Needled myself again. Got hands like an ogre, I do. You look nimble, though. Need something? We tan, weave, stitch, you name it. People in search of medium and light armor come to us. This requires fibers, leather, and a work table like those found in town. We also seek out style books and special ingredients for more advanced work. Yes, of course. During the tailoring process, we can choose a special trait for the work. It takes research to discover these techniques, but it's well worth the effort. Reinforced buckles, intricate detail work, each brings a special benefit. Well, the piece can be improved even more through the use of tannins. These elements can enhance the value and quality of your work. Just be cautious. You risk ruining the piece if you're not careful. Improving on perfection is no mean feat.
Craft a pair of homespun gloves. You'll need refined jute and a style material. Clothiers sell those if you can't find any yourself. You know, I'm a master clothier, yet I still own a pair of homespun gloves. They keep my hands warm at night. Sometimes simple is better. Wonderful! Now for deconstruction. There's much to learn from breaking down your own work, even more so with someone else's creation. Head to a clothing station and deconstruct your gloves. Or anything else, really. Just be sure you do it there. You're more than capable with needle and thread. I'll be proud to call you my colleague. Already done. You'll now be able to fulfill Clothier crafting writs, and I look forward to seeing more of your work. I have nothing left to teach. Have you spoken with Daniel Teleno? He can certify you in enchanting, alchemy, and provisioning. Last I heard, he was in the local Mages Guild. Of course. What do you want to know? I can explain how to craft stronger items with more materials, tell you about the improvement of existing items, or discuss research and traits. You can easily create more powerful weapons, armor, and shields. Simply increase the amount of refined material during an item's creation. Of course, each material has its own limits. At some point, it's just waste. You can greatly improve weapons, armor, and shields with certain rare materials. These materials are unique to each craft. Bring any tempers you find to a blacksmithing station. You can improve the quality of forged weapons or heavy armor. A word of warning, unless you have enough tempers, you can lose your item while improving it. Be sure you know the risks. Some weapons, armor, and shields possess rare traits that distinguish them from others. Every kind of item has its own unique set of traits. Once you research a trait, you will always be able to craft an item of that kind with that particular trait. Bring any item with a trait to the appropriate crafting station and research it. You'll lose the item in the process, but you'll learn the trait. The more traits you already know for an item, the longer new traits take to research. Plan accordingly. You can easily create more powerful weapons, armor, and shields. You can greatly improve weapons, armor, and shields with... If you bring tannins to a clothing station, you can improve the quality of light or medium armor. Be sure you bring enough tannins, or you could lose your item instead of improving it. There's always a risk. You can easily create more powerful... You can greatly improve weapons. You'll want to bring resins to a woodworking station and use them to improve the quality of a bow, staff, or shield. But without enough resins, you risk losing the item in the process. Taking a chance can be very expensive if you aren't careful. Bring any item with a trait to the appropriate crafting. You can greatly improve. You'll want to bring resin. Of course. What do you want to know? Fair question. I was an apprentice clothier in the Imperial City, but my old fusspot of a master had no plans to retire. So I joined the 7th Legion's baggage train. Years of mending battle mage armor helped me perfect my craft. Armies need all kinds of weapons and armor. You learn to pick up a few skills along the way. Also, enemies who capture the baggage train are far more likely to ransom an exceptionally talented crafter. 4 times for me. Don't plan on a 5th.
We tan, we...
Welcome to the Bank of... Welcome to the Bank.